Hey guys, excited to have you out again to the next video on Berkshire's annual shareholder letters. This one I'm going to be going over is the one from 1978. And in these, I just share a few insights that I had as I was going through and reading it, as I think it's the most valuable thing that we have from Warren to go through and analyze what his thoughts were and where he was coming from on these things. So why not learn from the best when you can? I'm just going to be reading directly from this report. And I have a few things that I wanted to share. The first one is after Warren kind of prefaces everything for this year and going into the specifics of each business that they own and industry that they're kind of in. He's got this quote that I'm going to read directly from here, where he says, "The textile industry illustrates in textbook style how producers of relatively undifferentiated goods in capital-intensive businesses must earn inadequate returns except under conditions of tight supply or real shortage." And I think this is valuable because there are many companies, especially my mind immediately went to companies, maybe gas and oil producers, who produce their undifferentiated goods. It's gas and oil, it's energy, right? There's not really any difference, and it's very capital intensive. And it puts them in a position where they're going to earn generally suppressed amounts, generally, unless there is real shortage or demand, whatever that might be, that kind of pushes things up to abnormal levels. This is obviously also the case. This is him referring to the textile industry, where many of the low-cost producers don't necessarily have anything that differentiates them. Whereas if you look at luxury, they have their brand that differentiates them, and that's why they're able to earn greater returns. So that's the first quote for you guys that I thought was really valuable. The second one is in regards to their investments after he talks about the companies that they invested in. And I thought this is a fantastic quote of why I think it is so valuable to actually be investing in the stock market versus trying to find companies who are in maybe the seed rounds where you're trying to get in on the ground floor or things like that, and why it's a little bit harder to get really good value at those levels. So here's the quote. "Safeco is a much better insurance operation than our own, although we believe certain segments of ours are much better than average. Is better than one of that we could develop, and similarly is far better than any which we might negotiate purchase of controlling interest. Yet, our purchase of Safeco was made at substantially under book value. We paid less than 100 cents on the dollar for the best company in the business." Should be pretty straightforward, but you can see when you're looking at the stock market, there's going to be unnatural swings up and down. And it allows you to go in and purchase companies significantly under what they're actually worth. Whereas if he would go to Safeco and say, "I'm going to make this offer to buy you out 100%, they would probably laugh him out the door because they know their company is far more valuable than that. But he can purchase a small interest in the company at 50 cents on the dollar because the crazy swings that the market has, and people essentially gambling and FOMOing in and out of the market and out of companies. So he presents it as an opportunity of why it is actually an advantage to be investing in the public markets versus trying to negotiate deals outside of that or getting in seed rounds of companies. So last quote is a very short one. At the very end, the very last line, he says, "We are associated with some of the very best." And I think this illustrates how well Warren is able to praise the people that he works with. But if you read this report, and I hope you take the time to do so, you'll see he also calls out some people who are maybe underperforming or who didn't perform as well as they had hoped. And so he's able to call out managers who aren't performing while also having full faith and confidence in them that they're going to be able to turn things around. And I think it's really cool to see the relationship that Warren has with the managers and the trust that he has in them, even though they're not necessarily performing to the best that he thinks that they could. So I think it's important to look for in managers that they are willing to, number one, call out the things that are going wrong, but also understand and have confidence in their management that they can turn it around and they don't feel like they need to be making drastic changes every time something goes wrong. That they're willing to see how things play out because they know the people that they have running the businesses, right? Same thing when you're investing in a company, you know what you have and you're willing to sit through the craziness because it comes. So hopefully this was valuable for you guys, and stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more of these to come.